this place so dry, no love to find. You're the only one that ever acts kind. They all after me, what's happening? I wish that you could see what I see. Your boyfriend's a douche that thinks he's cool and doesn't deserve a girl like you.
Hey guys, it's me, Nagato Uzumaki What If. Here's a little throwback What If. Today I'm going to be doing part 4 to What If Deku and Bakugo were the reincarnations of Sasori and Deidara. It's been a minute since I did a part to this What If, but so, yeah. So as I said last time, Pain sent Deku and Bakugo aka Sasori and Deidara, to go work with Shisaki for if or most likely when the heroes found him. So in this case, I'm gonna say, I already told you guys in the first part who replaced Deku and Bakugo, which is their sisters. But so for I'm gonna say for a month, anywhere from a week to a month, Deku and Bakugo aren't doing anything because the heroes haven't found their base yet. Because in the first week, the heroes haven't even found Eri. At the start of the second week is when they find Eri. And then once a month passes is when they find the base. And then they still have to wait a week to plan out how they're going to get in there and what could happen. So, yeah. So, Deku and Bakugo are just kind of sitting there. Bakugo is talking about how he's going to make the heroes' lives art and how they're going to flash with beauty and then they're going to be gone. And Deku is talking about how he'd like to preserve some pieces of the heroes for his art. And so in the middle of their talk, they hear a loud boom from upstairs, which is the dragon hero. I'm pretty sure her name was Ryuka or something. Her busting through the front gate, and so things go along as normal. But so instead of Toga and Dabi being there, it's Deku and Sasori. But so the group gets split up as usual, and Deku is just kind of sitting there waiting for his for the heroes to come through. And I'm going to say that I'm going to say as how just like how Sasori has a shell, Deku also has a shell. Except his shell is kind of be like a person, and the person was kind of like Kirishima or Tetsu. No, matter of fact, I'm going to say, the reason Kirishima, no, it's gonna be Tetsu. The reason Tetsu wanted to be a hero, he wanted to be a hero in the first place, but the reason he really wants to be a hero and a good one is because his dad was basically Colossus, right? But so Deku killed him in front of Tetsu and now uses him as a shield. Kind of like how Sasori used that body as a shield. But so, but so, then the heroes come through, and I'm going to say the heroes that were there were Uraraka, Froppy, and Bakugo's sister, which, dang, I forgot what I named her. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure her name was like Katsumi. So Katsumi and Izumi. And so Froppy, Katsumi, Izumi, and then also I'm gonna say that a few other heroes were there, like Best Genius, Gang Orca, and also Gran Torino. Cause why not? So Deku's sitting there and he's looking at them and he's like, And he said, he looks at Bakugo and says, "Do you think they'd make good enough art?" And Bakugo says, "Maybe for an instant, but they would. I don't think this batch would be long-lasting art. Good luck next time around, Deku." Or, no, he doesn't call him Deku anymore. Good luck next round. Good luck next round, Izuku. And Izuku's like, What about what about that one over there? And he points towards Best Genius. And Baku kind of laughs and is like, "Oh, definitely not that one. Maybe you'll get luck with the next batch of heroes that come around here." And so Deku's like, I guess you're right. And so Azumi kind of got pissed that, like, her brother was talking like that. Like, he could just destroy them easily and then turn them into puppets. Because she still really hasn't had a taste of what her brother's core could do or what the Akatsuki could do as a whole. So she charges towards him with 5% OFA. And she tries to shatter the back of his armored shell. And it doesn't work. Because I don't know if I mentioned this in the first two parts, but none of the heroes have ever seen what Deku actually looks like, except for the heroes that work at UA and know that that's Deku. But besides them, those are the only heroes that know what Deku looks like, or know that that is Deku. But so she tries to hit it with 5% and it doesn't work. So she she backflips back to the rest of the group and tells Katsumi, "I don't think I could break it. What should I do?" And so Katsumi's like, "Get out of my way, you damn nerd." And because they basically have the same dynamic, except Katsumi's a bit more friendly to Izumi than Bakugo was. So she charges at she charges at Deku, and the different part about her quirk is that besides the fact that she doesn't have like, the mouth hands or the mouth on her chest, is that she can explode from her hands and her feet. So she does a bicycle kick and explodes the thing, except it doesn't really, it also doesn't work. Like, it leaves a scratch, like it leaves a big slit, but it's not big enough to like take him out of. Like, it's just like it's like a paper cut. But so it's like a deep paper cut. So she goes back and she looks at Izumi, and Izumi looks at her, and they both nod. And so Izumi charges up at 8% and spins Katsumi around, and then charges towards Deku, and basically uses Katsumi as like a sledgehammer. And Katsumi uses both her hands in like a combined fist, like one big fist, and explodes it, and the back of the shell is just blown open. So Deku jumps out of it towards the other end of the room, because up to this point he wasn't doing much, and so he's like, and he had his head down at this point, but they could see his hair was black, but it did have some red, and a lot of red, and it was red to the point where they thought it was red dye, but because Katsumi didn't have green hair, and her parents didn't have green hair, so it had to be dyed. Except it wasn't dyed. It's just that his hair was naturally a blackish red, except it was a light red. Except after he killed enough people, his hair got dark red. So it was shaded with blood. So Katsumi charges at Deku, because I feel like they could get Deku easily since he's just a puppet master, and it shouldn't be that hard. And they'd have to get Bakugo later since he could actually explode stuff. Little did they know, they're both within a very high power scale. But so they underestimated Deku. And so Katsumi charges towards Deku and tries to do kind of like when Obito uses Kamui on his flame, so it's kind of like a spiral. She does that with her explosion. But so Deku kind of slides around it and twirls, and they can't see it because he's still wearing his Akatsuki cloak, and his arm looks like it brushes past her, and then he leaves a scrape, and the scrape has like a purple and red mixed into it, and it's not venom. It's not like the venom to kill like it was with Kankuro. It's like a deep paralysis venom. Like, she wouldn't be able to fight for another, I'd say, week. That type of venom. Because he didn't want to kill her. He didn't feel like killing her yet that much. He just decided he'd use paralysis. So she falls to the ground, and when she tries to get up, she could only get like halfway up, and so she has to crawl back to the group, and Deku lets her crawl back. And he just thinks, well, that was kind of pathetic. And so Bakugo's like, Why didn't you finish her off? I know you could have done it. You're more than capable. It's your kind heart, isn't it? And Deku's like, I guess. But the next batch will definitely be my puppets. These ones are for you to play with. And so, Izumi gets mad and charges towards Deku with, I'm going to say for a little bit she was able to use 15%. And she charges towards Deku and she tries to kick at him. And, he dodges. And so, so he just kicks her in the stomach and she folds over and throws up blood, and that's pretty much not the end of her, but she's gonna be out for a good minute. And so and then Deku's like, you can go with the pro heroes, Bakugo. And so Bakugo starts throwing his little explosion things, like the clay spiders and the clay birds. And right? And so he intended to kill them. Pretty much, he did intend to kill them, or at least badly injure them, like 3rd-degree burns. So, Froppy and Uraraka kind of got saved because Froppy used her tongue to throw Uraraka, and Uraraka had grabbed her tongue. So they both flew above the explosion into the ceiling. So now they're like kind of stuck to the ceiling. Otherwise, they'd be flamed to death with the explosion. But so, Best Jeanist, 3rd-degree burns. What were the other heroes I said that, like the other 2 pro heroes that I said were there? Doesn't matter. They got, Gang Orca, he got 3rd-degree burns. Gran Torino, he's practically dead at this point because he's already old. And he got 3rd-degree burns. So they're out. The ones that is the least out is Gang Orca because he was able to kind of defend himself even though he is like a water type hero. So he Bakugo decides once he gets close enough, he would use his, like, that weird centipede thing that he tried to use on Itachi. Sorry if you haven't seen up to there. But so, Gang Orca's charging at, Bakugo, aka Deidara. Or as he calls himself, the Explosion King. And then, so, Deku gets in front of him. Right? And so, that gives Bakugo time to create the centipede. For the centipede to go out of Gang Orca's field of vision, since his field of vision is still kind of foggy because of the fog from the explosion. And so, Deku gets out of the way. He backs up because he knows this explosion is going to be quite big. And Gang Orca charges at Bakugo, and right before he hits Bakugo ties him up with the explosion centipede thing, and he explodes it, and he's like, art is an explosion, and he blows Gang Orca up. Gang Orca is also going to need to go to the hospital, like most of these people. Most of these people are going to need to go to the hospital. Right? And so, that pretty much means they're done for. Because Uraraka and Froppy can't fight them. They know that now. Everyone in the room just got laid out. Like, just destroyed. So they can't fight them. And so they like escape the room by crawling through a hole that was already in a wall, and like crawl back to the other heroes and tell them about what happened. So more heroes came, like Edgeshot, Kamui Woods, the Dragon Hero, the Black Hole Hero, and Kirishima and Fat Gum were able to get there. And I'm gonna also say that there was like a few just random heroes that had some decent quirks. Lock, I'm pretty sure his name was like Lock. He's there too. I don't know why I remembered him specifically, but so yeah, they go into the room, and Deku's like, "What do you think I could get from this batch?" And Bakugo's like, I see some good that could be everlasting art, I guess. And so, Deku decides he's going to take this one. But so, Bakugo says he'll just lay back and let the blood puppet master do his thing or something like that, right? And so they realize they're gonna have to charge him all at a time, and so Deku sees this and realizes that they aren't stupid like when they first came here, and that they can't just charge him one at a time. And so he pulls out his 100 puppets technique, right? And so he basically destroys all of the heroes that were there that don't really matter that much, which means that so I'm gonna say that Edgeshot, Uraraka, Froppy, Izumi, and Katsumi made it out alive because he didn't really see an interest in them, or Edgeshot, but Lock and all the other heroes that were there, he decided he was going to take them. I mean, he didn't take Gang Orca. No, he took Gang Orca, but he didn't take Gran Torino or Best Tunist. So, quite a few heroes. I'm going to say he got like 11 to 15 heroes out of it. So, he got like a lot of new puppets. And so, but then, I'm going to say that they realize it's going to be a bit before Pain comes. Because the rest of the Akatsuki were actually coming. Because they knew why Chisaki hired them. Because he wanted to keep Eri and keep using her blood. And her to make the quirk racing bullets. And Pain and the rest of the Akatsuki just didn't vibe with it. Like, they just hated it. Even Hidon, who is in a cult, and Kakuzu, who only chases the bag, they just didn't like Overhaul at all. So they were going to be coming. They're going to wipe Overhaul and the whole Yakuza. They're going to set Eri free to the heroes. Basically, like, they were going to keep Eri in kind of like a, they're going to set Eri outside of, they're going to set Eri next to the heroes, right? That were still, like, unconscious, and we're about to leave, and they're going to wipe every one of the Yakuza out. So, the Akatsuki come in, they wipe out Chisaki. It wasn't that hard. they didn't even need to all charge him at once. Like, Hidan just needed to do his ritual sacrifice to Joshin or whatever, and it was simple. Right? So, that was about it. Then, and then that's about it. They leave Eri with some heroes that were about to wake up, and they dip back to their base. And so, they don't really have that much to do with the gentle criminal arc. I think I might find a way to fit them in. But so yeah, peace.